I wanted to sit and talk about polling for a second. When you look at the polling, the way I look at polling is we always have to remember there's a 3.5% margin of error in any political poll. And what I keep seeing is these polls that show Joe Biden up on Donald Trump by, somewhere between 6 and 8 points. Some states it's 3 points. I always like to take that margin of error and put it into that poll. So if I show, Joe Biden up 48-45 in Wisconsin, then I'm going to take that 3.5% and I'm going to say, okay, it's probably they're tied. If Joe Biden's up, 46-40 in, say, Michigan, then I'm going to take that 3.5% or so and say, okay, he's probably up, 2.5 to 3% in that state. So, that's one of the things I think a lot of people, when they look at the polling, you don't include that margin of error. And I think that's what went wrong when you go back to 2016. Everyone looked at what was happening in the national poll where Hillary Clinton was up, 10 points here, 8 points there, 7 points. And they really didn't break down from a state level. I believe without a doubt, Joe Biden's going to win the popular vote. And he's probably going to win it by more than what Hillary Clinton won it by, somewhere, 3 to 5 million votes on the popular vote level. But the popular vote doesn't get you to the White House. What you need to be able to look at is what's happening in these state levels. So I would rather see state polling where all 50 states, especially the swing states, and then those states that, are red but could, turn blue, like a Texas or a North Carolina. I want to see what those state polls. So, with us being, right at the 8-week mark before the election, I'd like to see most pollsters turn into more state polling, less national polling. We know, the national poll is probably going to give the nod to Joe Biden, but I think we need to see what those state polls are going to do. And I think that's where the heaviest of the weight can lie, as well as looking at, what's that margin of error. I don't think we should leave out the margin of error to say, okay, this race is closer than most people think it is. And I think it will be a very close race, of course, hoping and praying that Joe Biden pulls it out. But I think we have to look at those state numbers, see what's happening on state levels, include that margin of error so that we know, true numbers. Do we always, I never go up with the margin of error. I always look at, taking it down. So whatever the lead is for the leader, whether it's Biden or Trump, I take it down to 3.5%. That is the margin of error, so that we see, a true reflection on, how tight the race is, or, how non-tight the race is. But I think it's a very tight race. I think Biden's got to do everything in his power. I would run the race like I'm running 10 points down, just to make sure that at the end of the day, I'm able to secure the win. That's my take on polling and how I think the polling should shake out in the race. This is Politics Store. I'm Stefan Walker.